Deep in my heart, guys, I truly believe I cracked the code on when the bottom will occur. Well, not when specifically, because I don't know the actual date or the exact date and time, but I think I know around what price at least. Now, I do have some credibility to actually bring upon this type of opinion, because back in June 17th of 2022, look at my master timeline, right? So within this thread, I talked about cryptos and stocks bottom out in the month of Sol, which occurs from June 18th to July 15th back in 2022, and what happened specifically to cryptos and stocks, right? Well, certain ones at that. The bottom, literally the bottom, guys. The bottom of XRP was right here on June 18th. So you guys see what I'm talking about? Right? And I still think we're going to go to new highs, but first we must die. So what's my game plan here? Right? I'm not going to change my opinion any longer unless I see different facts come into the play, guys. But in this video, it's not going to be a fear-mongering video. I'm just going to put this video out there to reference in the future, guys. Okay, I'm going to remember this video in case if it does happen, because when I think about this scenario, my heart feels so excited, right? So here's my game plan. Here's what I think will happen to XRP and Bitcoin. What price it will bottom out, guys. So first, let's go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going demonic, right? Very, it's been going high and up and up and up and pumping to new heights. Now, there's a pullback happening. Remember, back on my master timeline, I tweeted out, look at this. Insane bull run lasts till 2024 to 2025, right? I don't think the bull run has ended, even though we're going to drop lower, in my humble opinion. Okay, so after this drop is completed, we're going to go to new heights. Where will Bitcoin bottom out, in my opinion? I said this like a few months ago, or like a month or so ago, guys. Bitcoin bottom price will be right here at 60K. Okay, I honestly think Bitcoin will bottom out at 60K. Right now, we're seeing a bearish divergence occur, right? Where price went higher like this, guys, but the momentum has went lower like this, okay? So price has went higher, but momentum is cooling off, okay? Which means the bearish divergence on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin is playing out right now. Okay, so that's very powerful, guys. That has enough power, enough energy to reverse prices immensely. I think the bottom of Bitcoin will be at 60K. So dump like this, go like that, and like just fly up, guys, until 2026 occurs. Then the collapse happens. Okay, that's my opinion for Bitcoin. And then XRP's it's a little bit more scary for XRP, guys. If Bitcoin drops 30%, XRP usually doubles Bitcoin's percentage, which is a 60% drop for XRP, which takes us to 86 cents, 85 cents right here. I think the bottom will be. Okay. So that's just my opinion, guys. And I think it may happen, the bottom may happen again around right here, the month of Sol. So June 18th to July 15th, I think it will happen, because if history repeats, usually history tends to rhyme, if not repeat, right? So we got a few months until the bottom actually appears, guys. And if this call does come into fruition, guess what's going to happen? People are going to buy all the way down, right? But when the actual bottom happens, they're probably going to sell. So they're going to buy, and have no more money, and get scared and sell, right? So we need to reach a point where people, like the average Joe I'm talking about, like you and I, will be so fearful and would sell our assets. Okay, so we need to reach that point before they reverse prices. And guess what's going to happen at that point in time? This is what's going to happen. The Fed will cut rates. The Fed will inject so much money, it's going to get diabolical. Donald Trump tweeted out, Oil prices are down. Interest rates are down. The slow-moving Fed should cut rates. Food prices are down. There is no inflation. And the long-time abused United States of America is bringing in billions of dollars a week from abusing countries on tariffs that are already in place. This is despite the fact that the biggest abuser of them all, China, whose markets are crashing, just raised its tariffs by 34%. And they have been raising it, okay, since this tweet. On top of its long-term ridiculously high tariffs, plus not acknowledging my warning for abusing countries not to retaliate. They have made enough for decades, taking advantage of the good old United States of America. Our past leaders are to blame for allowing this and so much else to happen to our country. Make America great again. Okay, so that's why I think the markets are going to dump. Just for the sole purpose that the Federal Reserve should cut rates. And when they do, they're going to bring upon QE, quantitative easing. It's going to be a repeat of 2020. I feel it in my heart, guys. I don't know, right? But it's usually when I get these certain feelings that are strong, they tend to be correct. The same thing happened when I called the bottom, right, for these assets back in 2022. It's like that type of strong feeling, guys. Okay. Now, yes, this may seem scary, but whenever this bottom appears, it's going to happen quick. We're going to rise and fly fast, right, until 2026, which is probably the year of the collapse over here, guys, right? And at that point, XRP, who knows what price it will be before then, right? Who knows? I don't know. No clue, guys, right? We're flying through unseen territories, unseen lands. And remember, guys, this is the path of the third. And remember, this is the third path, the third option. The pump happened. The dump, right, which is the recession and the final run up before the collapse, right? It's a third option. The first option was pump to the collapse. The second option, collapse right now, or the third was this right here. And it seems like we're at that territory right now. And I'm going to add not just my opinion, but the opinion of the people who are the insiders into this equation. Jim Cramer has said 2 days ago, now is not the time to panic. You guys know what that means. It's time to panic. But again, I do want to mention as well, this isn't financial advice because Trump can just make a deal, right? And all the uncertainty now has clarity and everything is green lit. But in my humble opinion, if I was a market maker, the most hellish path is for them to dump it ridiculously hard and then pump it very hard after, like extremely hard, right? And I'm going to catch this bottom. I'm going to try my best to catch several bottoms here, right? Because this will be the trade of a lifetime if I can, guys, right? And all the money that I lost, I hope I can make a percentage back through this process of the next months to a year. That's what I'm hoping for. BlackRock even stated, CEO, he will not rule out another 20% stock market decline. 20% for stocks equals about 40% for Bitcoin. Let's say 60% for XRP. You see? World's largest asset manager, BlackRock, says it's increasingly cautious about United States stocks. Then, the reason why this is all happening in the first place is because the trade wars, at least people aren't dying, right? Literally. China announces additional 84% tariffs on United States goods, right? So just climbing more and more and more, guys, nonstop. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says we are probably in a recession right now. Again, the Fed is too late to cut, right? So they're going to be cutting when everything has died. This economist warns United States stocks could repeat 2008 bear market amid Trump's trade war. No, it will not, because in 2008 it the bottom, the process of the bottom, it took so long. Instead, we have a mechanism which, as soon as they dump it, they pump it back immediately quick, because the system will die if they don't, right? It's addicted to money, So that's what they do. So when they dump it hard, they're going to print, and that's going to be the savior, right, of the system until it can't handle it no more and it actually collapses. We are entering uncharted territory in the global financial system, Deutsche Bank stated. Former Treasury Secretary Summers says United States might be headed for a serious financial crisis. Look at that, guys. It's all adding up. This is just my opinion, right? This isn't set in stone, but I feel it in my heart. And every time when looking at the indicators, it's never failed me, guys. Bitcoin is guaranteed, in my opinion, to head to 60K minimum. But I think that would be the bottom, because if Bitcoin can hold above this level, there's going to be a bullish divergence on the monthly time frame, right? A bullish divergence. So price will be holding above this level, but the momentum will be lower than this level, okay? And that's going to give enough fuel to go higher, right? Which will foreshadow the printing and all that stuff to happen. Treasury Secretary says everything's on the table when asked about removing Chinese stocks from NAC stock exchanges. Again, it could get more worse, right? People don't really understand this, and they're going to be buying all the way down. So I just want to save some people if possible, but again, this isn't financial advice. You have to have your own idea on what's going to happen, guys, right? Because anything's on the table right now. So the one thing that's actually quite interesting is that $700 billion Bernstein says Bitcoin has been much more resilient than those previous previous crises, right? It's impressive. That's actually quite true, right? Before, Bitcoin will probably have dumped so low right now, but it's actually holding up pretty well, right? Which is interesting. And what's even more crazy to me is look at XRP. Right? How is XRP even holding up? That's ridiculous. It's an altcoin. If you compare that to Ethereum, look at Ethereum, XRP, Ethereum. Right? XRP should be dead right now. It's not. If this was 2 years ago, it would have died during this trade war, guys. Right? To me, it shows a lot of strength. And finally, when they start QE up again and start printing, it's going to be demonic. It's going to go on that demonic run to double digits fast. And again, we're literally inside a black swan event right now, right? It hasn't exploded, but I feel like it's about to explode. Especially as the treasury market is crashing. The yield on the 10-year just hit 4.5%, and the yield on the 30 just hit 5% without an emergency rate cut. Things can get out of hand, right? And SEC filing reveals MicroStrategy may be forced to sell Bitcoin below their average purchase price to cover debt obligations if the market continues to drop. What's going to happen to Michael Saylor and all that debt he has accumulated, right? So things are getting quite scary here, guys. Just be prepared. Just be safe. These are the times where we warned about a long time ago, which will come true. This is the path of the third path. The pump already happened, the dump, and the pump. This portion is a recession. Remember, never forget, and that's just my opinion.